Michael Porter Jr. has made a statement in the bubble, and his coach Mike Malone made a statement too.
Michael Porter was not selected to play in the Rising Stars game this year. Are you kidding me?
Yes! Mic drop.
Are you kidding me?
That had to feel good for your coach to say that to the media. Probably not as good though as back-to-back 30-point games. Michael Porter Jr. is showing the world why he was so hyped, but it's not all good. In this video, we are giving Porter props, but also we're revealing the one reason that he will get pulled from big games in the playoffs. The Denver Nuggets look really smart for taking a chance on this dude, but they're also looking like a first-round exit. Welcome to AM Hoops. Hit subscribe, notification bells. It helps out the channel a lot. You know what else helps out the channel? The channel that's coming out with 5 videos per week, always dropping at 5 Eastern. Is if you enter the promo code AMHOOPS at mybookie.ag. If you like a little extra on these games like I do sometimes, they are the sponsor of this video and they have set up this promo code for you because if you put it in, you will double your deposit. So they're asking me to pick games for you guys, which I like to do. I put a lot of thought into it, but I want them to be right. So I've got a new rule, okay? I'm not gonna pick a game that's more than 24 hours away. So that means that right after this video drops, the picks are only good for a few hours. So if you want the picks, you have to put notification bells on so you get them right when the video drops. So my 2 best picks of the day. My first pick is under 225.5 in the Rockets-Lakers game. We're missing some key offensive players here in LeBron James for sure, and maybe Russell Westbrook with a bruised quad muscle. James Harden hasn't scored over 25 points his last 2 games. Pick number 2 is the Blazers as 4-point favorites this time against the Nuggets. Portland is healthy and playing great, while the Nuggets are injured, and there is a lot I don't like about them, as we'll see in this video. Again, mybookie.ag, promo code AMHOOPS, helps out the channel and doubles your deposit. So I said we're gonna give Michael Porter Jr. props. Let's do it. Even with his disappointing 11-point first game, he's averaging 26 points and 9.3 boards per game with insane efficiency. His 67 points in 2 games are the most by a rookie in back-to-back games in Nuggets history. That is amazing. He is so good, the Nuggets have the best offense in the bubble. Better than the Mavericks offense this year, which was an NBA record. So basically, the Nuggets will be champions, Michael Porter Jr. Finals MVP. Well, actually, maybe not. Almost everything else about them is awful. First off, their health. The reason Michael Porter Jr. is putting up these numbers is he's getting a ton of minutes. Good for him for making the most out of that opportunity, but that is a bad sign for Denver. They have 3 starters missing, and Mike Malone, the head coach, said even if it was a playoff game and they had to play, they couldn't play. Denver is missing Jamal Murray, Will Barton, and Gary Harris. And let's make this clear, even though those guys aren't superstars, no one can survive missing 3 starters. A team can't reach its potential like that. What they do have is Monte Morris, point guard, who could start for some teams in the NBA. Paul Millsap is bringing defense, and Nikola Jokic is always good. Greg Popovich just called him a reincarnation of Larry Bird. Now you wish Torrey Craig would hit an open shot and Paul Millsap would do more offensively, but that brings us to Michael Porter Jr. As great as he's been offensively, he has been just that bad defensively. And if you watch this channel, you know I really harp on defense, but a really important person agrees with me. Nuggets coach Mike Malone. He's an old school coach, and if Michael Porter Jr. lets some dude just easily blow by him in a big game, he will be benched immediately. Coach Malone already did this year with Michael Porter Jr. He started to trust him more, but the defense slacked, so his minutes went down. In fact, Malone not playing Michael Porter Jr. was a big reason he didn't make that Rising Stars challenge, which is pretty ironic considering that mic drop moment. And you know what's great and not great about Michael Porter Jr. is the same for the Nuggets as a team. They are great offensively, like we mentioned, they are amazingly bad on defense. The Nuggets defense is just 0.1 points per 100 possessions away from last in the bubble. So basically they are last. Mike Malone will not stand for that, and he will bench Michael Porter Jr., who has been horrible on defense. So far, whoever wants to get by MPJ does, and in the playoffs, teams will attack him every time to a win. This chart shows every champion's defense by points per game since 1999. About 45% of them were top 5. About 70% of NBA champs were top 10. The outliers here are the 2001 Lakers, the 2018 Warriors, two dominant teams in the middle of a dynasty who could afford to flip a switch. The Nuggets are not that. Bottom line, defense wins in the playoffs, and the Nuggets have a huge issue right now. If they don't fix that side of the ball, they will be an easy first-round exit for whoever they play. Right now, they are the 3 seed. They would face the Rockets. Houston would destroy the Nuggets. No team has looked more rested and in sync than the Rockets in the Western Conference. The Nuggets' schedule is about to get real tough, too. They could slip to the 4, the 5, or even the 6. And that actually might be best case scenario, because they could end up playing the Jazz, who everyone wants to play right now. If they play the Thunder, though, they would upset the Nuggets. If Denver somehow rises to the 2 seed, they would face Dallas. That Mavericks offense would torch the Nuggets out of the bubble. My prediction, though, for the Nuggets going forward is a big losing streak. Houston will replace them at the 3, the Thunder will be the 4, Utah the 5, and Denver will slip all the way to the 6 seed. Just look at the Nuggets' schedule. Every opponent except for Utah is legit scary. Denver has been winning games by outscoring teams with big games from Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic. Do you think that's going to continue, especially against those teams we just showed coming up in their schedule? No, it will not. Denver is about to get exposed big time. In my prediction, their first round opponent would be the Rockets anyway, so it doesn't really matter. As I explained before, I love what I've seen from Houston in the bubble so far. The Rockets would win that series easily. So obviously I'm concerned about Denver's defense, but that doesn't mean that Michael Porter Jr. won't continue to start into the playoffs. The Nuggets don't have a choice. He's the best part of their offense right now, and there are a lot of injuries. If he doesn't improve defensively, though, his minutes will get cut big time. He will be sent to the bench early. The good news is he does have a chance to improve on D. First, you know he's hearing the criticism from the media and from his coach. Mike Malone points out that MPJ is lacking on defense, but he says he's got the tools to improve. I don't have a lot of faith, though, that it will happen. It takes rookies a few years to learn defense, and Porter is actually still technically a rookie. Just like I predicted Bol wouldn't score 16 points in the playoffs, I predict Michael Porter Jr. will go from the 35 minutes he's gotten in the bubble so far to less than 20 minutes per game in the playoffs. In fact, I'll guarantee it if they get back to fully healthy. If I am a Nuggets fan, I am super concerned by everything I've seen in the bubble so far. Don't be fooled by Michael Porter Jr. having a hot start. All it means is the hype is real offensively. We knew that. That's not a surprise. In reality, the Nuggets are in huge trouble. They need to get both healthy and good on defense quick. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.